Hi folks, here we are again with On the Road with Titanic International Society. This is the 104th anniversary of the sinking of the Lusitania, and here we are in Mashassuck Cemetery in the city of Central Falls, Rhode Island, visiting the grave of Lusitania survivor Elizabeth Hampshire Graham. Elizabeth was born in England, and she and her foster sister Florence Whitehead moved to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, to see what life was like in America. But unfortunately Florence didn't like it here, but Elizabeth did. But as a favor, Elizabeth agreed to accompany Florence back to England, and they chose the Lusitania, which they booked second class. And when you read through Elizabeth's letters, she remembers the people she met on board, including their roommate, who was a maid to a duchess, and the families with small children like the Ackroyds, who were unfortunately lost. And on that fateful day, she and her foster sister were having lunch in the dining room when the ship was struck, and the steward helped them upstairs. And when they got upstairs, they found that the deck was slippery from the water and what had been ejected from the funnels and debris. And they went to go towards one lifeboat, but it looked like it was getting full, so they chose lifeboat 13 instead, and which was lowered, and a young girl was put on her lap by the name of Helen Smith. And Helen unfortunately lost her baby brother and both her parents, and in pure innocence said to Elizabeth, "Well, if I can't find my parents, I'll just go with you ladies." And but Helen herself had an interesting story, and she lived a long, happy life with married children, and there's a new book about her. And but here we are at Elizabeth's grave, and she came home and she married Peter Graham, and this is a mill city, so they reside in Pawtucket. And it's a curious mixture of mansions and middle-class homes and quadruple decker apartments, and certainly a lot of old mills which now are repurposed as studio apartments. And she had one goal, and she wanted to live to be 100 years old, and unfortunately she lived to be 98. But I used to correspond with her niece and nephew, who are have been wonderful friends for the last 20 years, and they sent me photos like this. Here she is in much later years, and they told me little quirks, her funeral instructions as to who was to be in what car, and that absolutely no tuna or seafood was to be served. And I can relate to that because I'm not a seafood person, which makes me the world's worst New Englander. And but yes, Rhode Island has many connections to various shipwrecks, Titanic, Lusitania, Andrea Doria, Arabic, Morro Castle. But today, because it is the anniversary, we are here, and we hope you'll go to our website, check out our various posts on the Lusitania and books we recommended. Eric Larson, Eric Sauter, J. Kent Layton, Greg King, and Penny King, Penny Wilson rather. Just wonderful, wonderful books. And of course we'll always steer you away from the bad, but this is kind of a somber day, because many people from this city were also lost on the Lusitania. So stay tuned for our next On the Road trip.